All right, guys. Hey, welcome to another Alovéa Pros podcast. And this is a first, actually, for two reasons. This is my first with a baseball player, and I love baseball. Max, I can't wait to hang out with you today. How are you doing?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm doing great. I'm excited to be on here. This is my first as well, being on kind of a podcast style, interview. I'm excited, and it's a first. So
There you go. We got the double first, which is fantastic. And I know when you and I were chatting, I love it because I find like tennis and baseball in a weird way have some similarities because we're like hitting a ball.
100%.
Maybe a lot of differences after that, but
Yeah.
I have so much admiration for what you guys do. But let's even start off there. You're a student athlete. You've got this incredible baseball career. You've got this passion behind you. Where did baseball start? Like for you, why was that
Yep.
the thing that you knew you were going to grow
So
on?
it all started. I can give you the whole rundown here. It started when I was younger. I was originally a hockey player when I was really young because my older brother, played hockey. So
You're not saying this because you see the Canadian flag
no,
and you're
no,
throwing out
I'm
some
totally
Canadian joke or something.
No, I'm totally legit here. So
Okay.
my brother played hockey and then he got into baseball and my parents were like, we're not doing two sports, you're playing baseball, and it just that's just how it worked. I've played baseball pretty much my whole life since I was 7 years old, 6 years old. It's been forever. And I'm like Mr. Baseball. That's what my high school coach called me at one point. Like I'm just so baseball oriented with everything I do. It's what I shape my life around, and like my passion never wavers for the game. Like let me tell you, like I'm a ride or die baseball player. That's what it is. I've vaguely played some other sports. My brother's a fighter. He's a Brazilian jiu-jitsu fighter, and he's a former college baseball player as well.
Wow.
And I've done a little bit of fighting, a little bit, not obviously to what his extent, of course, but overall, my whole life I've played baseball, and that's what I want to make that a career. I want to play professional baseball one day. That's a
Good for
goal of
you.
mine, and that goal has not wavered or will not change anytime soon. So
Well, first of all, I love your passion. I love your just drive and coming from the sporting world that I was in. You have to have that drive, right? And you obviously have that. But talking to I've never had the chance to ask somebody in baseball this. First of all, I'd love to know like what position do you have a kind of a specialty, but what do you take from being because you're also a student athlete, you have this goal of being a professional baseball player. But what are some of the things that apply that the discipline you put into baseball that also play into real life,
yeah,
and just from you personally and professionally?
100% discipline. It's no different with really any aspect of your life. Like, for example, when you are in the gym, if you're showing discipline with your workouts and your nutrition, that discipline is going to branch off into your school or your job or your family or whatever it is. And it's no different with baseball. With me, building my life around baseball has taught me extreme amounts of discipline, self-sacrifice, and a lot of other things. But the discipline 100% is the biggest thing it's taught me. It's taught me how to, number one, how to face adversity within my life. Being
Mm,
being a college baseball
wow.
player is not an easy feat. It really isn't. You are dealing with, the stress of school, anything outside unrelating to baseball, as well as you're having to perform in a sport where, it's like killed or be killed, or kill or
Mm,
be killed. And
yeah.
it's a very aggressive sport in the sense that like there are not there, the pitchers, he's trying to, just absolutely shut you down out there. And same thing with the hitters trying to hit the pitcher. And, baseball for me has taught discipline, which I then apply to my school and I
Mm,
apply to, friends, family, kind of everything. But I mainly talk about it with school because obviously, like, I'm 21 years old, I'm still in college. So that is kind of the main, college and baseball are my main parts of my life right now. So like, it is 100% transferred from the discipline of baseball into school.
I love
1000%.
that. I love that. It gives me chills just kind of hearing that raw passion that you have around that. And what positions do you play?
I'm a catcher, like pretty much the primarily, and secondarily I could play third base, I could play first. Obviously you put me anywhere on the field, like I'll do my best to
Yeah.
get it done, but primarily catcher and corner infield.
I've always found, first of all, I've always loved catchers. I always loved that position. And for 2 seconds of my life, I tried it. So I have mad respect for a catcher. And obviously, the arm you must have is intense.
Important, yeah.
But some of the greatest names in baseball history are those catchers that just have. It's kind of like hockey goalies, right? You guys all have a
Yeah,
certain. You have a
very
different
similar.
mindset with a willingness to do what you do. So big congrats on that. But you brought up something I think super interesting. I think in the old days, and I'm a million times older than you, but we didn't think of, we'd go have a Big Mac and then play tennis matches, right?
Yeah.
Whereas in today's world, you brought up the importance of nutrition. Is that something that you've learned in sport? Is that something you learned in school? Or like when did you start really taking your nutrition seriously?
It all started. My dad got me into the gym and nutrition when I was younger, but I've
Mm,
taken nutrition as a college athlete very, very serious. I'd say going into my freshman year of college, I really did a lot of research into diving into nutrition dense foods and what to avoid and what not to avoid. And, because there's a lot of misinformation out there nowadays. There's a whole there's a lot of nonsense, but nutrition as an athlete is so important. I'm not a guy like very rarely, I'll go out there after, it's like quick game on the road, you got to grab some McDonald's or something like that happens sometimes being on the road, but most of the time, I mean, the nutrition it plays, having something healthy, so some healthy carbohydrates before the game to keep you energized and really like it plays a factor. I'm telling you, to anyone who watches this, nutrition plays big time, and that goes exactly with kind of what you guys are about and what you're, it's very similar. Obviously nutrition, electrolytes, and kind of supplements, and what you guys are about is very like hand in hand essentially, so like
yeah.
it's
Well,
super important.
and I see you see that in sports today. I think more so than in the past, where you can see like golfers are great examples. Like golfers today are ripped, right? They're
Yeah,
super fit
no,
and
absolutely.
strong. And even in the baseball world, like I grew up with when the Blue Jays won the World Series 2 years
Yep,
ago, probably before you were born, but
that was way back in the
you
day
know,
right there.
way back in the day.
Yeah.
But I mean, they're incredible athletes. But today you see professional athletes looking stronger, and same with the student athletes. We know a lot of Division 1 tennis players, and just the
Mhm.
size and the strength, and so that nutrition plays such a big part. But you brought up Alovéa, so you like a lot of other athletes now in NCAA schoolings can become sponsored by companies, which is also a new thing through the NIL, which is your name, image, and likeness agreements. So you were introduced to Alovéa and you applied to be a sponsor by this company and you were approved, exceptionally approved. People were very excited to have you part of this. So can you tell me like how did that even all happen?
Yeah. So it started very interesting. I met Shirley at my baseball facility. Me and my buddy, another Division 1 pitcher and hitter, two-way. We met her. She walked in the facility, just straight cold call, like and
Wow.
she was like, "I'm looking for the head guy." And unfortunately, he wasn't there at the moment. But I'm like, "Hey, we're here. Like, how we may help you?" And she's like, "I run this electrolyte company called Alovéa. Here's what we're about." Handing me a brochure, a couple of the samplers as well, and we just started to get to know each other, and now we talk almost on a daily basis about the company and just about everything, and we've met up a few times at the facility, and I've tried the some of the Edge products. The pink lemonade was my favorite. I got shipped 2 bags of this is my favorite one I brought for this podcast, the Focus Orange.
Nice.
This is my favorite one. I have 2 bags. I've ripped open the other one upstairs in my room, but this one I have not touched yet. But yeah, that's kind of how we met, and I'm excited to kind of be a part of this. This is my first time with kind of an NIL sort of partnership and ambassador kind of agreement. So this is obviously new to me. Obviously, with college athletes and the whole NIL thing is still relatively new. I know a little bit about it, but obviously I'm learning more almost on the daily with, so many. I know a lot of friends and other college athletes who are super in deep with the NIL. So I'm learning, and I'm happy to be a
Yeah.
part of this.
Well, I think that as more and more companies hear you communicate and what's important to you, they'll love to connect with you. And but that's an interesting concept. So what was the reasoning? So you met this person you didn't know. Now you've built a great rapport. I know Shirley; she's an amazing woman. But so you didn't know this person. Now you're building rapport. Then you obviously looked into the company. But what was the thing that made you say, "Okay, I've never done this before, but why am I willing to do this with this company? Why
Right.
am I willing to do this with Alovéa?"
Why Alovéa essentially? And the answer to that is, first off, I'm a super outgoing and social guy. So I'm ready when the doors open for opportunity. I want to be the first one there. So that's the first thing. I'm a social guy. I'm outgoing. I want to learn. I want to become a part of things. I want to become a part of projects. But secondly, why you guys is I've been deep into the whole supplement thing for well
Mm,
over 3, 4 years now, even going back into high school. So I've seen a lot of your guys' products, and simply it aligns with what I'm about. And because of that, I want to then dive in deeper with the company. I want to learn more. I want to become a part of, and like you guys have talked to Wendy, now you and Shirley, and you guys have been super respectful and kind as well, which that's important nowadays. I care about that kind of thing. I don't want people that I'm, essentially in business with or talking to be disrespectful or rude, because that's not who I am and I don't stand for that. And how I want to be treated is how I'm going to treat others. So
Mm.
that's kind of the whole reason why.
There's a bunch of old people like me watching going, oh my gosh, I have faith in society moving forward with hearing you, because I love what you're
Yeah.
saying. It's just it's just, again, I'm going back to that passion, that energy, because as you and I were talking, I built a tennis school when I was about your age, so I had that passion around sport. I had that passion around building something. One thing I skipped over: what are you taking at school?
So right now, going into I'm about 20 days out from starting college baseball at Mount St. Mary's University. I transferred from Joliet Junior College. Major wise right now, I think I'm going to be doing in disciplinary studies or psychology. One of those two. And disciplinary studies is very similar to just the kind of the general education degree path, but also my is a psychotherapist who runs her own company. I'm actually in
Oh
her
wow.
home office right now, sitting in her chair. So psychology also is what I might do as well, or at least take psychology electives and courses and get some credits towards that as well. But it's kind of a toss up right now between psychology or disciplinary studies. When I was at Joliet Junior College, I graduated with an AGS, that's Associate of General Studies degree, as well as I have some business credits, some psychology credits. So I've kind of little bit of like a circle of like kind of what I've done, but degree wise, I think it's going to be the interdisciplinary studies route
Mm.
at the 4-year level. So
That is awesome. Well, and you can see that path of, being an athlete in that world of, sports psychology is becoming one of the biggest areas around sport
super
in and of
important.
itself. And I know it's super important in every sport, whether it's a team sport or individual, but you're up there alone with a bat, or like you're sitting back there and there's just the stuff that can be going through your mind. So being able to have that little edge makes all the difference in the world, but you feel like you have a strong business excitement too. So I love that
Yeah.
energy. So fill me in on, going a little deeper into that nutritional side. And we'll kind of finish off with one last question after this. But you've caught that bug on taking care of your body. If somebody's watching this, that's maybe somebody that's looking to become a scholarship student, or maybe he's a younger baseball player and they want to move on and they want to go through the NCAA programs and they want to go to professional baseball. What would your recommendations, like? What would you say some of the biggest shifts that have happened for you physically that have allowed you to feel how healthy and strong you are today?
If I had to give some advice to an aspiring athlete who wants to play college baseball and succeed at that level, I would say a few things. The first thing, this is not nutrition related, but I'm going to get into the nutrition in a moment. The first thing I would say is that if you are not a well advanced athlete out of high school that can play right away at the Division I level, which nowadays is rare with eligibility rulings and older guys and all this stuff, junior college. JUCO
Mm,
baseball is so it changed my career. I was one of, I think, me and a buddy of mine, my best friend, we went JUCO out of high school, and now we have made it the farthest. We are the only ones in a circle of group of people that are currently at the Division I level, and it has changed. It has changed so much. And my
that's
advice was
great
go
feedback.
go JUCO. That's my advice, number one. And number two, to dive into more of the nutrition side, I would say simply eliminate processed food as much as possible. Stick to single ingredient foods, as nutritional dense as possible. Personally, my favorite food is steak. I love a good steak. It's so
Mm,
healthy for you. It's super good for your body. And being an athlete, you need those vitamins and minerals that are in the steak. And I would just say that whole ingredient foods and as much protein as possible. It's simple. It does not need to be complicated at all. It really doesn't. And try to get some healthy carbohydrates in as much as possible, especially before game day. Eliminate the processed ingredients as much as possible, and really, it's not too much deeper than that. Honestly, I feel like
nice.
nowadays I see a lot on the internet of so much complex, just like words getting thrown at you and all this stuff, and it's like, why? Life's already hard enough. You're already, especially if you're in school and playing a sport, you already got so much to deal with. If you want to be, nutritionally, I would say, strong or advanced, keep it simple. Like, why not?
I love
You know what
that.
I mean? Just keep it
Well, I
simple.
love that too, because if you think of Alovéa, it's all of our technologies are food. It's just food-based technology. So if you can replace something like a Red Bull with something like Focus that you showed, that's
Yes,
clean and it's healthy and it's going to have a better impact for your gut
one
health
hundred
and all
percent.
the benefits, it just makes sense, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
I've
biggest
stopped.
question.
Oh yeah,
What's
yeah.
that?
I was gonna say I've
Well, I was
stopped with
going
the
to.
energy drinks. Speaking of that, like
Oh
sticking
yeah,
with more cleaner stuff. Like I don't do the energy drinks anymore. Completely stopped it. One
yeah.
without
We
100%
did.
erratic.
We never did a podcast with them, but I was working with with WCU, which was a Division I school down in North
So
Carolina.
Western Carolina University.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So we sponsored their whole school with Alovéa, and because I live basically across the street from them. So yeah, the players just loved Focus, and they talked about how it actually impacted their school and how many of them got off of Red Bull and Monster and all the things. So it is a super big positive around that. But I've got it. Here's the big question:
Yeah.
You're going pro. What team are you playing for?
Okay. Here's my answer. Being from Chicago, this might not be the answer you expected. I am a diehard San Francisco Giants fan. My uncle has a post-game radio show with the San Francisco Giants, Marty Lurie. So I've got introduced to the Giants as a kid. That was my diehard team. Tim Lincecum, Pablo Sandoval, those MVP World Series guys.
Wow.
Those are my day ones right there. So San Francisco Giants, 100%.
Well, you
I
just kind
will.
of blew my mind. I mean, I might have been a little bit more blown if you said the Toronto Blue Jays, but I was not thinking you're going San
Yeah.
Francisco.
No.
So
Send me to Cali. That's where I want to go.
nice. Well, Max, hey, it's been an honor hanging out with you. And for everybody watching today, I hope you got some great value out of this and just, learn more about Alovéa. And Max, can't wait to have you on a next pros call. We talked about it beforehand. We're going to get a bunch of athletes together, and we'd love to have you represent baseball with a
Absolutely.
bunch
No,
of
I'm
others.
happy to be here. I appreciate your time, and I'm really excited moving forward.
All right. Thanks, Max. We'll see everybody on the next Alovéa Pros podcast.